Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and man, we had a good time last week. We were in San Diego off-roading with the new GMC Sierra AT4X. Before we get those driving impressions coming up in this video, let's go ahead and talk about this GMC Sierra AT4X and kind of give you some backdrop as far as what it is and what you need to know. All right, let's start with those images on the screen. You can see the exterior of the GMC Sierra AT4X. We have a standard 6.2-liter V8 engine with a 10-speed automatic transmission. We have the unique Multimatic DSSV spool valve dampeners. These are the same that are on the Colorado ZR2 as well, and I think the Silverado ZR2. Unique springs, the Multimatic dampeners that increase the maximum front and rear travel suspension by 50 millimeters, 25 millimeters respectively. 2-speed transfer case. You do have the selectable train mode, allows for one pedal rock crawl driving, and we have front and rear E locking differentials. This is not a G80, it's not an automatic locking differential. These are controlled in the cabin. You can actually have some buttons to control the lockers. They're set up for an off-road chassis, suspension calibrations. You have the larger steel transfer case underneath, or transfer shield underneath the truck, and we have 18-inch black wheels. They're LT 265/70R18 Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack mud terrain tires. There's also available a rock rail on the side, protects the truck from getting beat up as well. Inside the truck is full of premium leather. It's just everywhere you look, lots of premium leather. We have 16-way power adjustable seats with massage function, which is pretty cool after a long day on a trail, getting a nice massage. Full grain, we have a new 13.4-inch screen inside there. We have a 12.3-inch screen behind the driver, and so Google Power screen as well. And you can see the differences there as you go around the Sierra AT4X interior and exterior. Okay, let's go ahead and get on the dirt because it was a really good time, and I have some unique guests for you later on to talk about the GMC Sierra AT4X. Stick around for that one. All right, before Jill leaves me, boo-hoo.
I'm sorry, I'm testing the tires, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just trying to mess him up while he's talking. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's your eternal goal. We thought we'd get your driving impressions on road on the AT4X. Before, like I said, you go to Lightning. Now, we did some driving yesterday with the Super Cruise. We'll link to that video in this video somewhere, make that happen. But, so your impressions on road with the AT4X?
So I want to start with the interior quietness because there are big tires here. You know, they've made that you've got the V8 engine, and you've got some suspension modifications. So there's the potential here that this could be a little bit noisy. And I found it to be pretty quiet. We haven't had the radio on. We've been talking, you know, through this whole drive, and so you hear a little bit of engine noise there as I'm speeding up, but it's very muted. And I think the interior quietness, they've done a really good job with this. There's not a lot of wind noise. And the tire noise creeping into the cabin is pretty minimal. So I want to start there. And then I will also say, so we just took a little pie break, Julian's Pie Company in Julian. And I did not have pie, unfortunately, but everybody else had pie, except for Tim. Tim also didn't have pie. Somebody asked me, they're like, so how is your visibility in this versus the Silverado ZR2? So the Silverado ZR2 has that little bump out on the hood, and this does not. So, and it was funny because I was like, well, it's similar. So now I'm really paying attention to the fact that, oh yeah, no, there is not a bump out there, but I do still feel like I'm sitting a little bit low, and I would love to go up an extra couple of inches, you know, in terms of the seat height. And so, you doing okay over there?
It's a twisty bit. Aggressive Mario Andretti in a full-size truck twisty bit. There may have been a little tire screeching.
Let me slow down for this guy.
It was 35 through there. You took it like 90.
No, I took it. I'm like going 40. That's 5 miles over is totally fine. So in terms of visibility, I will say this is a skosh better. It's just a little bit better than the ZR2 is because it doesn't have that raised hood line. But the belt line is very high on this vehicle, and I do still feel like I'm sitting pretty low. So, okay, we've got interior quietness and petite person visibility out of the way. And how do I think it drives other than that? Really well. The engine power is great. It merges really well with traffic on the highway, and the acceleration is very, very smooth and seamless. Like, I don't feel like the vehicle is struggling at all. And the ride comfort, to me, in the driver's seat actually feels pretty good. How does it feel to you as a passenger, other than the whole swervy bits?
In most cases, my stomach's fine. In cases where Joe gets aggressive, my stomach's not as fine. I will point out, too, that we are in normal driving mode. There are different driving modes.
Yes.
But we haven't really felt the need to go into sport mode like you would in some vehicles to get more pedal acceleration. Again, that's a feeling everybody's gonna have their own viewpoint on. But no, I feel like it's pretty comfortable, and I could do a road trip in this. And the seats are much better. The seats are much better.
I mean, they're definitely on the firm side of things, I'm not gonna lie. But it was funny because I was kind of taking stock of the situation on the way to the break point, and I was just like, okay, they're firm, but they're not. I don't feel like I'm sitting on a brick. And here's my favorite thing. So by the way, there's a button on the side of the seat. Massaging seats. I've just turned them on, and you know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn on the heated seats, and I'm gonna, yeah, that's really nice, actually.
Yeah, it's currently 73 degrees out.
But
Is
it's
it 73?
No, this is my temperature is set to 73.
It's 77 outside. Just saying, 77 outside.
I know, the guy's like, let me turn on the car for you to cool it down, and I'm like, you don't need to turn that on for me. But thank you.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Right. No, I think overall it's a really good marriage between on-road and off-road. And I will say that the comparatively to the ZR2, I felt like the ZR2 was a little bit
Rougher?
not rough, but I thought it was more like softer off.
Oh, you know what? That
On-road.
fair point. It was definitely a little bit squishy.
Squishy, yeah. Squishy.
I think squishy
I was
is
trying
the
to forget the
exact
word we were
word
saying
that
for
we
it.
used.
Yeah, so
it was like squishy.
This to me is more dialed in. It's more premium of a driving experience.
Yes, I would agree with you, because I remember the squish. And this feels, I wouldn't say sporty. I mean, it's a very large truck. It's not going to be sporty, but it feels a little bit sportier than the ZR2 does. So unfortunately, I'm going to miss the off-road driving portion. So I would be very curious to see how this stacks up to the ZR2 in terms of off-roading. I imagine this will be just as capable. But on-road, it definitely has a better dynamic.
Yep. And throw a couple stats to you. 1,300 pounds of payload, 1,330, somewhere in that range.
I think it was like 1334.
Yeah, I'll take a picture of the sticker, put it on the screen, and 9,000 pounds conventional towing. So this isn't like a massive towing rig. You definitely get more towing capacity and more payload when you step down in trims and things like that. The off-road gear is going to negate some of the towing prowess, but you can still tow a boat, still tow a camper, and still get out like an overlanding experience with this truck.
Yeah, and one of the questions, like on TikTok, they asked me what the difference between this and the ZR2 was. And the difference is going to be luxury amenities. So the interior of this vehicle, massaging seats, has really premium leather, nice stitching, accents. The features and the details are much more up level and premium. And what the GMC folks said during the press preview this morning is basically they wanted to take all of the off-road prowess of a ZR2 or even the AT4, and they just wanted to amp up the luxury content on the interior. So that's kind of what you're looking at. So this is off-road ready and capable, and GMC absolutely wants you to take this truck off-road, even though I think they said something like 19% of people who own this vehicle actually do that, but they want you to, and it can, but I think it was 69% of the people said that, yeah, they want to do some of these overlanding, off-roady, campy things, but they want to enjoy the ride while they get there. So hence, this isn't as squishy and massaging seats.
Yep. All right, I'm going to go get it dirty, like the 19% of people will, and let's see how that does. All right, now I'm behind the wheel. Jill took off the Ford Lightning. Again, we'll link to that video above. And I grabbed a fellow with me from the Canadian, General Motors Jeff. He's with me. We're talking about the GMC AT4X off-road.
Awesome time.
So is the X, is that 10 times better than AT4?
After driving it, I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from the regular AT4, but I like it probably 10 times more. And we can talk about it, but there's so many things about this truck that separate it for me more so than when you look at it. But, you know, from an appearance standpoint, to the naked eye, there doesn't seem to be a huge standout difference between them.
You know, I would agree. So I'm going to play some video on the screen here about off-roading because we had the radio going and stuff, and you can't get interrupted every 10 minutes for make a left-hand turn here or stop here and whatever. But I was driving the ZR2, and I know you haven't had a chance with that yet.
No.
I was driving the ZR2, and I would tell you that it is incredible the difference in the off-road ability of the AT4 than there is with the ZR2. It is phenomenal difference.
Sorry, are you saying the difference between the AT4X and...
AT4, yeah, AT4X.
Okay.
Sorry. I forget the X sometimes. We had a border patrol guy there. I got a little lost there for a minute. Sorry.
No, you look a little guilty. You look a little guilty. Is there a reason why you should be nervous?
I used your sorry.
Yeah, well, it's rubbing off.
It's rubbing off. Anyways, the AT4X and ZR2, I will tell you, I like this AT4X more than the ZR2. I think the on-road manners of this truck are pretty exceptional.
Okay.
Off-road, I was expecting, so when you do off-road trucks, you basically give up one for the other, right? So either you do on-road well or off-road well.
Yes.
I thought this did both really well.
Yeah, and I think that's where I was really impressed with the AT4X versus the AT4 is I think it went unsaid that when you have these Multimatic DSSV suspension versus the Rancho shocks, and you know the way it's set up, obviously you're going to have, it's no question you're going to have better off-road capabilities. I don't think there would never be a debate about that, obviously.
Right.
But where my biggest surprise came from was where we're driving right now is on the freeway, and we had some pretty twisty turns going into where that drive was, and the lack of body roll, the fact that it's not rattling the teeth out of your head on the pavement is what really impressed me. And I again, because you drove the ZR2 and I never had that opportunity to, there's one thing that they're using different tires, so that's an interesting thing for me that they didn't even use the same tires from a dirt track to the Goodyear Wrangler Territory MTs, and I don't know if that is giving any sort of
I gotta say this out loud on camera. I'm a bit at a loss on what they did to make it so much difference. Like, I thought when I saw the press release and I saw the photos and stuff, I thought, okay, well, this AT4X is just a little more premium interior, a little bit better materials, right?
Yeah.
A little bit different look.
Yeah.
I didn't think, I thought, okay, ZR2 is gonna be the Chevy equivalent, it's gonna be cousins. It's not gonna be anything different, right?
Yeah.
But there is a fundamental difference between those two trucks.
Okay.
I think the ZR2 looks more badass, but I think the AT4X is a better overall truck.
So I have to hold a reservation until I have the opportunity to drive the ZR2 on my own accord just to see what I feel. But the one thing I can say right off the bat, and if anybody has watched my videos, they'll know that I never speak really negatively about GM products because I love them, obviously, but one of the things I did notice, and what you just said, is I very much prefer the look of the ZR2. It stood out as a different truck. It stood out as an off-roading looking vehicle. It had the cut up in the front. It has better approach angle, that kind of stuff. And today completely changed my mind on what I thought looks aside from that aggression. I was blown away by what the performance was, and at this point now, unless the ZR2 does something that would be completely different, which you're telling me in your own, at least on your own opinion, it didn't, it'd be hard for me to lean so much more to the Chevy, which I was just from a look standpoint, right? From initial presentation of the vehicle.
So let's wrap this up a little fast. Recap for people. Off-road, really impressive. One pedal driving, train mode, full low engaged. I mean, it was really impressive. Going downhill, the front and rear locker, being able to select those from a driver selectable standpoint is huge, in my opinion. I like the G80. It's a great locker, but I think I love the selectable option with the piano keys.
Yes.
I think it's premium interior. You can feel the difference with this versus the ZR2. I know
Can we talk about the seats for a second?
Seat comfort, yes.
Because that's one of the things we talked about in your live, and you have a great amount of discussion about.
Right.
And you put me on the spot about that.
I did. I put you on the spot. So I gotta. So seat comfort's a big deal to me. People know on the channel that I've been really anti GM seats.
Right.
And it's interesting because when I got this event, Nikki is the chief engineer here for the Sierra and Silverado. Nikki, I'm sorry, last name Nikki. And I asked her about. I asked her comment about the seats because even the PR team from GMC knew that story because we talked about it. And I will tell you what, the Sierra Denali Ultimate, I thought the seats in that are really pretty good.
Right.
I don't think these seats are as well as the Sierra Denali Ultimate. Like right now, I can feel like a bar in the back of my butt.
But it has different bolsters in this.
Yeah, and so what I'm mystified by is why I can't get
that comfort,
the same seat all the way around. Like, just give me a damn good seat.
Yeah.
You know, I love this. I like this AT4X. I really do. I'm really impressed on road manners. Really impressed with power. I'm sad there's no 3-liter diesel option.
So that's something I haven't had the opportunity to ask any of the engineers about, and I'm very curious as to what the response to that would be. I mean, I've talked about it on my channel before. My wife has a Tahoe with the diesel. Absolutely love it. You and I have talked about this before, and it would be an amazing in this truck, the stuff we were doing today,
would be
it's
amazing.
designed for that.
So,
and you could also tout, greater fuel efficiency. I mean, the 6.2 is impressive for what it is.
And it's not as big of a gas hog as it used to be. It's not bad, but it's not.
But you're still running premium fuel.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, you're still premium fuel, and it's still not as good as it could be.
Right. And so if you could get that person who doesn't necessarily need the extra horsepower. Obviously, I mean, that was one of the things they looked at and go, okay, we have our 6.2, but they weren't looking at this as a super high horsepower. They're not trying to go up against the TRX.
Yeah.
Right? And I agree with you. I'm very curious as to why they didn't, but I think this needs a diesel.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So the only two things that you really have negative about this is I still think the seats could be, I want the Sierra Denali Ultimate seats in the AT4X on a diesel.
With these bolsters?
With the bolsters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I gotta tell you what, the difference between the Sierra AT4X and the ZR2, the main difference, I was gonna write a story about this. You know what I was gonna type in massaging seats period post done.
I haven't even used those actually.
Oh my god, they're freaking awesome, right?
I can't believe
So if you want to have a massage while you're off-roading, this is the truck for you. There we go. Excuse us a little bit, we'll be getting our massage going on. Check out other videos over here, website down below. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you down the road.